and on the FM dial, 92.7 W4EA, Indiana.
All right, welcome. Buenas tardes, good afternoon. This is Eve Gomez on a special report today, a special show at 1 o'clock starting now. We're live on WLTH Radio, AM 1370 and also 92.7. And we are live on several streams as we speak. And so this is a special paid show brought to you by Haneefah Khaaliq for Congress. And that is what we'll be hearing today. Let me just tell you real quick. Of course, the views expressed by the host and the callers of this show are necessarily the views of WLTH Radio management, owners, and sponsors, and advertisers. Real quick, who is Haneefah Khaaliq? Well, she is running for U.S. Senate for the state of Indiana in 2022. Some of you may say, wow, that's pretty early, but you know what? It's never too late to get off on a great jump start. She's jump starting her campaign right now because she believes starting early will help her win. The 37-year-old earned a bachelor's degree in education with a concentration in science from Indiana University, Purdue University in Indianapolis, and Juris Doctorate degree from Valparaiso University School of Law. Prior to running for her office, Ms. Khaaliq was a school teacher. She taught elementary through middle school in areas such as Indianapolis, Gary, and East Chicago. She now professes at Indiana University Northwest, providing future teachers with the skills and education they need in order to teach effectively in urban districts. She has a large, huge bio of so many things that she's accomplished. This is her first time running for public office, and she isn't shy about telling it, and that's why she's here. She's going to open up as a town hall meeting / interview here on WLTH. Also, you can see her on Haneefah Khaaliq for Congress page.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube.
She's got it all. She's got all the platforms. Oh, and TikTok. She's
not TikTok yet. Not yet.
Right. So this is Miss Haneefah Khaaliq, and I want to introduce you and welcome her here on WLTH Radio. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in once again. This Saturday, last Saturday, I was on, and I'm here back again, and I'm going to be here each Saturday moving forward from June all the way through September. So first of all, I'd like to thank WLTH and the staff here for allowing me to host this virtual town hall on today. And yes, I am running for United States Senate. This particular virtual town hall would have been for South Bend, but of course, in light of COVID, we are, practicing. The campaign is sending a message of safety, and we are doing as best as we can in light of COVID to continue to practice social distancing. So I'm live streaming right now from Facebook, Insta, Twitter, Periscope, and YouTube. And I'd like to start off, if I can, by first informing listeners, again, that with an exception for July 4th, I will be live streaming from all my social media platforms. So first, Eve gave quite an introduction, and I'd like to continue a little bit with giving that introduction, and also to let people know who I am continually as well. If you're tuning in, please share this this live stream as a message with individuals who you feel may be of interest. So first things first, there are many places that you could be, and you're right here with me. There's a lot going on here in the world. We've got COVID still with us, and all of the frustrations, of course, that come with it. We just laid George Floyd to rest, our brother and our friend. May he rest in peace, and prayers to his family as always. This is my petition to listeners, however, that we remain focused on two very, very important things, and that is registering to vote and filling out the census. I can't stress these two things enough. You know, we already complain about not being counted, and then we don't take responsibility to be counted. So please fill out your census and, of course, register to vote. The second thing that I've been urging listeners to do is to communicate. Communicate with who? Communicate with whoever you need to, rather that be your bill collectors or your employers or your landlord. We're still in COVID times. And if you've got to tap into the CARES Act or file for unemployment relief, the CARES Act relief funds, that's what they are for. So tap into that source of assistance as much as possible, and don't be ashamed to ask for help. And hopefully there'll be more assistance coming from Congress in the coming weeks and days. So I want to shift gears now and talk a little bit about who I am. And I did this last week. I'm going to do it again. And then we're going to talk about some of the issues that our nation is dealing with. Also, don't want to forget that we do have a call-in line as well for anyone who has any questions. So I am from Chicago, Illinois, moved to the suburbs of Illinois after mom divorced and remarried. And when the steel mill shut down, my stepdad and my mom, of course, we moved to Indiana, and I've been a resident of Indiana ever since 2000. I want to bring attention to, want to kind of make sure listeners know who I am and what's going on here. Again, I'm Haneefah Khaaliq. I'm running for United States Senate right here in Indiana in 2022. And I'm starting my campaign right now because I think that's what it's going to take to win. The name of my committee is Hoosiers for Haneefah. And I'm asking everyone to visit my social media and keep up with my posts. So I had the privilege of growing up in an interracial home, and I made that announcement post on my social media feed a couple days ago because I wanted to send a message to everyone that two people, I believe that two people, I grew up in a home where my stepdad was white, my mother was black, and I grew up knowing and believing that two people of a different race can not only love and appreciate one another, but they can grow together in perfect harmony. And I say that because we are dealing with a moment of social unrest in our country. I'm single. I don't have any children, but I do have three wonderful sisters, and they have children. So that means I've got a host of nieces and nephews and godbabies to keep me company, and I love them all. Shout out to them on this afternoon. Graduated from Lake Central High School in St. John, Indiana. Went on to both IUPUI and Valparaiso University School of Law, as mentioned earlier. I was the president of a Christian student organization there, and I was also a youth minister in my church for several years. I left there, became a teacher. Now I am a professor. I'm a lawyer for my own social service. I'm also the Civil Rights Agency Director for the city of Gary, and I'm running, of course, to be your next United States Senator right now. So a little bit about my family. Economic status range for the middle class, and that's something I'm also proud of because we know what it means to struggle and go to work every day and earn a living. And we also understand having the American dream and the struggles and experiences that often come with trying to get it. So when I was a student at IUPUI, I learned one very important thing, and that is the importance of volunteerism in the community. Volunteering is what gave me the ultimate experience in working hard for something without any pay. I got to work with animals and create comfortable living spaces for them until they could be adopted. I got a chance to work with single moms who were struggling to make a living. I got to work with ex-felons and helping them re-enter society and get jobs and open up their own businesses. I got a chance to work with troubled teens, food banks, Habitat for Humanity, you name it. I worked with senior citizens. And that's how Hoosiers can be sure that I will never be driven by money as a politician, because I'm used to getting down and working hard and doing stuff with perfection, or as close as I can to it, without pay. That's how Hoosiers can be sure. So it's not a promise, it's a way of life for me. I'm used to doing the absolute best that I can without being paid a single dime. And that's what's important right now. You know, in 2017, I could have gone and worked in any law firm with my performance in law school. I chose instead to volunteer at Sojourner Truth House right here in Gary, Indiana, providing free legal assistance to women and children in need. Now, I'm not saying that to blow my own horn, but I'm just telling you that it's a way of life for me to do my absolute best and maybe not have any money in the bank. You'll find I'm a well-rounded individual, one who understands people, plain and simple. And most of all, I understand the struggle of the average American. I'm the type of leader you've been looking for, because I have all the life experiences that have brought me to a place where I am confident I am able to lead you. So once again, want everyone to know who's listening in. I am Haneefah Khaaliq. I'm running for United States Senate here in Indiana in 2022. And I'm starting my campaign right now because I believe that's what it's going to take in order for me to win. The name of my committee is Hoosiers for Haneefah, and I thank you for every contribution that you're able to give. So why the office of United States Senator? I talked a little bit about this last week. I'm going to say it again until you know it. Everybody knows it. There's very little representation in the upper chamber of Congress right now. And I'm going to tell you why. Because each state gets 2 United States senators. And it takes a lot of work and time and energy for 2 people to represent the state. In fact, each senator needs to do quite a bit of work. So it's going to take more than just saying, I'll represent you to do the representation. You've got to actually put some work into it. And from what I can see right now, I don't see that our current senators are doing everything that they can to represent everybody in this state. And I don't think they're doing a good job at all. In fact, the only representation they seem to be doing well is for the economic minority. These are the ones who own businesses and they are rich. That's why they're called the economic minority. But that's not what our founding fathers intended. Our founding fathers intended for people to be represented, not businesses, people, and the people who own those businesses. Okay, so our founding fathers intended for United States senators to work a little bit harder at representing the entire population of a state. But they also wanted people like you and me, average people like you and me. I said this last week as well. Doctors, lawyers, teachers, average working Americans like you and I to run for office. Why? because we live and work in the communities our government is supposed to serve. And nobody knows better than what we need than the people who live there. I'm sorry, nobody knows better than we do what we need. Would I be able to observe and appreciate the growth that I see in Gary, Indiana right now if I didn't live here, if I didn't work here? I can only represent Hoosiers as much as I am out there and amongst them every single day. Okay, so what's sad is we continue to elect people who are out of touch with our society. They have no record of public service, no record of volunteerism, and some of them don't even know the law. No wonder we can't make any real changes ever, because they don't understand the sense of urgency. There is a sense of urgency right now. And this lackadaisical attitude that our representatives and people in Congress have taken is absurd. It must be stopped. And it can only be stopped by you and me. Now, we have United States senators. We have a United States senator in office right now, who hasn't said a single word with respect to what can be done to prevent any more violent acts against citizens from police. He spent maybe a minute or two in one of his announcements talking about George Floyd, and then he went on to something else. Yet last week, he went all over the state talking about businesses, talking to businesses and telling them what good he has in store for them. I get it. I'm all for the flourishing of our businesses. But what about Hoosiers? What about what we're going through right now and what we're experiencing? What about more stimulus money? When are we going to get more stimulus money? What about the fact that on July 1st, my landlord or my bank can begin the process of eviction against me? All right? If I haven't been able to pay them, I lost my job. What about my job? How come our United States government couldn't prevent this catastrophe of layoffs and terminations that happened all over this country? 1 in 6 Hoosiers right now is without a job. Why couldn't they prevent this? They could have. They could have swooped in just like they did and done things sooner. But okay, so here we are. Why doesn't this United States senator believe in a minimum wage increase? Look, I'm beyond a minimum wage increase. I'm telling you right now that I'm going to be for livable wages, fighting for livable wages, because that's what Americans need right now. We are beyond asking for a minimum wage. We need a livable wage now. Now, he hasn't done a single thing for civil rights with regard to the LGBTQ plus community. He knows absolutely nothing about education or where that money needs to go. I think when he was in the House of Representatives, he voted for $110 million to go to schools so that they could teach abstinence. I can think of 110 million different ways that money could have been used to actually benefit education as a whole. He still needs evidence of climate change in order to do anything about it. This is sad. I don't need evidence that climate change is happening. The only thing that I have to know is that this is the earth. This is my only home that I know, and I need to do everything that I can to take care of it. It's like I said earlier. We need senators who are going to do more and work harder than ever before to make sure that Hoosiers are accurately represented. It's not enough for you to say, I'm going to represent you. I'm sorry, that is not going to cut it any longer. What we need is proof. I want to talk to you now about what I intend to do as your United States Senator. one of the first things I promised to do is establish an online system where you can go, and here's the basic principle. When you don't know something, you get experts in the field and they help you put together whatever it is that you need. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know everything, but I'm going to tell you what, I know who I can reach out to help me create an online system where you get to see, I get to see information provided to me about what Hoosiers are thinking, what they're feeling. You get to see the dialogue that I have with them, and it will show you how I voted as a result. And you will see the reason why I voted that way. That has never been done here, not on the level that I'm proposing. And that's a Haneefah thing that we need to keep in mind that's being proposed. That's something that's coming from this campaign. That is a promise that I intend to, that I am making right now, and I will fulfill. Nobody's going to hold themselves to that level of accountability, but I'm telling you that I'm going to make every effort to make it happen. Once again, I just want to let listeners know I'm Haneefah Khaaliq. I'm running for United States Senate right here in Indiana in 2022. And I'm serious about it. I'm starting my campaign right now because that's what I need to do in order to win. The name of my committee is Hoosiers for Haneefah. I have successfully registered with the Federal Election Commission. And you can visit my social media on any of my social media. It will take you to my Linktree page, which will allow you to donate as well. I appreciate a one-time contribution, but I would appreciate also a subscription, and I'd like to give you a t-shirt if that's something that you will do, subscribe to donate each month. 2022 is right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen, and those in between, and those who don't identify, right? I'm starting my campaign now because I want to give Hoosiers an opportunity to get to know me as a person, not as a candidate, to share my message. And hey, you can even call me sometime, 317-999-5592. We can chit chat, text, call me, talk about anything you want, because I want to remain accessible to constituents throughout this campaign journey, and of course, when I take office. Now I know where I am. I know I'm a blue dot in a red sea. I say this to people all the time. I said it last week. I'm an outsider. I am an outsider in this race, but I'm asking Hoosiers, if they will, I'm begging Hoosiers to put aside traditional, what are known as traditional, petty distractions from the greater truth. And the greater truth is that I will work hard to make a difference on Capitol Hill more than anyone you've ever known. I want Hoosiers to consider sending a strong, clear message to Washington in 2022 that they've had enough of the mess, and they are putting someone in charge for once who they know cannot be bought, sold, bribed by the economic minority. See, the problem with Washington is too many millionaires and billionaires in office. There's nothing wrong with having tons of money. The problem is when you have so much of it, you don't think you have anyone to answer to. And that's what's happening right now. There's no accountability. I say it so many times. Look, if I'm going to agree to represent you, I can't just leave it right there. I have to take steps. I have to take your order. And one more very important thing, I can't be afraid to judge and hold accountable the President of the United States. In closing, and I'll be opening it up for questions, any questions, or if there are any questions from Greg or Eve as well. I'm sure they will communicate that to me. My website, just a few things. My website is coming soon. My goal is going to be for the fall of 2020. I know many people have been asking me, where is your website? Uh, my goal is fall of 2020. Right now, I just have the social media going. Until then, I hope you'll visit my Linktree page, which has all the information you can ever think of, donation information, event registration, and things like that. Remember, for the next several consecutive Saturdays, I will be online right here, live streaming from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube. So please follow me, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and you will see these lives every single time at 1 p.m. Central Time. Please don't, second thing is, please don't wait until 2022 to give a contribution to my campaign. As I stated, I'm Hoosiers for Haneefah. My ActBlue account is set up. If you can, please subscribe to donate each month. I love the one-time contributions, but the subscriptions really do help me out, help me to do all the things that politicians have to do, right, in order to make their voice heard. If you subscribe, I'll send you a nice little t-shirt that says Hoosiers for Haneefah. So that will be my thank you to you. And remember, folks, I'm not a career politician. So my campaign is grassroots. Everything that you give will help. If you want to volunteer for the campaign, thank you so much for wanting to do that. You can contact me directly at 317-999-5592. The team is still growing. I'm still looking for people ready to represent me, particularly in Terre Haute, Lafayette, and Bloomington. These are some cities that I still don't have campaign managers for quite yet, so I'm looking to recruit. Again, those areas are Terre Haute, Lafayette, and Bloomington. Just reach out to me and let me know. Finally, I'd like to give a great shout out to my own team. I've got about 18 professional men and women on my team. And like I said, those in between and those who don't identify as well. Thank you so much to my team. I love every single one of them. And I want to also give a shout out to Pastor David Parker Brooks from South Bend, Indiana, as well, who helped me get the word out as well in that area. Finally, I have to say this again, please register to vote. Primaries are over with, but hey guys, we still have the general election going on, and we still need your voice. Make your voice heard in the booth. A lot of protesters were out there. We saw you. We heard you loud and clear, but you need to take your voice to the polls. And let me just tell you this, even if there's someone you don't want on that ballot, you can still vote out who you don't want. Okay? So I don't want to hear any excuses about I'm not voting, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, because we need to hear your voice in the voting booth. Also, one last thing is I am, the team and I, we are organizing a freedom ride from Gary, Indiana to Washington, D.C. in the future. The details will be forthcoming. We want to do a bicycle ride on Lincoln Highway, and we're still kind of organizing that and putting that together, so bear with us on the details. But the goal is to segue into March that's going to be in Washington, August the 28th. By the National Action Network. So just stay tuned for details from that. And with that, I will take any questions that we have. Do we have any questions, Greg, Eve? Okay, so if you have a question, you can type it in the comments section. Eve and Greg are listening. If there's anyone on the line, I'll just let you guys take over with the questions. Thank you.
We are back here on WLTH Radio in 1370 92.7 FM. And just so you know that we are taking calls now here live in the studio. And you've heard it from Haneefah Khaaliq. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air. Use your headphones. Use your headphones. Oh. Go ahead, caller. Just tell me. Go ahead, caller. Speak into the mic. Just say, go ahead, caller. Just speak into the mic. Say, go ahead, caller.
Okay, go ahead, caller.
Hello, Haneefah. This is Dan Teo calling from Lafayette. Sorry
Hey, Dan.
today.
Oh, that's okay. Hey, Dan.
For just a second, and you started to talk about some of your priorities while you're involved with maybe hearing at the important what you were seeing some of your top priorities in the next at the beginning of your term.
Well, thank you so much for your question, Dan. Dan just asked what were going to be some of my top priorities when I get to Congress. So I've got three top subjects here that that will be the guiding principles for my campaign: civil rights, education, and poverty. I'll say those three again. Those are my top three: civil rights, education, and poverty. Okay. So with respect to civil rights, I don't think I have to too much go into the reason why for that one. I mean, just look around you right now. You can see, why there's such a need to look back at the civil rights law, see how it can be expanded to protect more individuals and provide protection to more individuals. And I intend to do that. I am running a local EEOC and a local HUD, and I see some gaps in the law that leave out a lot of people. So one of the things that I'm going to do is take a very close look at civil rights, how it can be expanded, particularly also for the LGBTQ plus community and some others who are still struggling to, basically even go to work and just be able to live as human beings. With respect to education, we've got a lot of issues within education, a lot of things that need to change in education. And one of the things that, is going to be really big on my plate is ensuring that every child in America has the same access to a high quality public education. And that when money is being dispersed to governments from the feds, that money is being used equal in distribution. Poverty is another one for me. Right now, like I said, my top three areas: civil rights, education, and poverty. Poverty, right now I own a business that we provide free legal assistance. Well, in some cases, legal assistance and information to individuals who are on fixed incomes and low incomes. But I think there's a lot more that needs to be done in this country, especially with our homeless population and individuals who find themselves homeless. Right now, we need to look at the unemployment, the way unemployment is distributed, to make sure that people are able to access unemployment when they need it with some lesser barriers. We need to fight for a livable wage right now. We have several million Americans right now who cannot afford $1,000 emergency expense. That's a shame right now. So poverty is going to be one of the main things that I tackle as well. I will be absolutely fighting for livable wages night and day because I think it needs to be looked at and reevaluated. We need to go beyond asking for a minimum wage. We need to make sure that Americans are able to afford, like I said, emergencies and other things that they, other things in their life which they may want to pursue. So civil rights, education, and poverty, Dan. Thanks so much for your question.
You are so welcome, and thank you for talking about those. Those certainly resonate in our community here in Lafayette, and I really look forward to seeing your campaign take off. So I'll be in touch soon.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Bye-bye.
If we have any other callers, we are also checking the chat room for actual live streaming on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. Greg is manning that. While I'm here at WLTH Radio at 1370 and 92.7 FM, we are opening the phone lines for callers to call in.
Give questions, mail-in voting due to COVID-19 happening in India. I'm gonna put that.
Thank you for coming on WLTH Radio and letting the state know, the community, the region know what you're doing, what your intentions are. But you know, me coming from another country, being from Mexico, what are your intentions in regards to immigration reform?
Okay, thank you, Eve, for your question regarding immigration here. Give me just a second here. Okay, so first of all, with respect to immigration, I have to say this, the current United States Senator that we have in office right now does not believe in a pathway to citizenship. I'm going to say that again. The current United States Senator that we have right now does not believe in a pathway to citizenship. Okay, so first of all, let me make it very plain here that I absolutely do believe in a pathway to citizenship, and I do believe in immigration reform. One of the things that I would like to work on, like the opportunity to work on as a United States Senator, is proposing legislation which allows our immigrant friends and family, our loved ones, to come out of hiding and be and not risk deportation from being honest. So I am proposing already a legislation even before I get into office. The name of it is the Forgiven Strangers Act. And what it just simply means is so this legislation will institute immigration reform, which would make it illegal to deport United States military individuals and ones who generally, even non-military, honestly and voluntarily come out of hiding, who have no criminal history, and provide them with immediate pathway to citizenship. You know, I grew up in a Christian home, and I'm going to have to say this. Jesus said, I was a stranger and you welcomed me. We have over 12 plus million undocumented immigrants in this country who could be openly and honestly contributing to our economy, our tax base, and so much more. Enough is enough. It's time we make it safe for them to come out of hiding and become documented citizens along with their families. We need to get to work on that. Another thing that I want to emphasize is that I am in support of DACA. I'm in complete support of giving children a chance at amnesty. They are juveniles arriving unaccompanied, and they deserve our mercy. I also want to, let's see, I want to make it also clear that I support lawful and legal immigration in this country. We have a significant number of individuals as well as permanent residents who have followed all the rules and they still can't get any benefits or help. I am one candidate who believes that permanent residents and individuals who are seeking citizenship to a certain degree should be able to tap into a percentage or a fraction of the benefits that they have paid into that citizens and Americans have. And so that is something that will have to be closely examined. And so, yes, that is what I have to say with respect to immigration. I'm still forming a lot of my policies right now, but that's what I can say with respect to where I'm going with immigration.
Well, thank you. If we have no other questions on social media right now, we have a caller in.
Okay.
We are open for callers, 219-885-1371. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, I was just calling to ask a question to the candidate for 22. In regards to immigration, at what point do we say enough with taking care of other countries' poor and needy until all the needy are in America, and then they'll decide to take care of themselves. What is the end of this immigration thing and this helping? People need to be able to help themselves. That's how we help them, or to move them from one country to another. oh, the basis of your system is not working that well. So let Americans work for us. And there are, and as we can see today, there are millions and millions upon millions of Americans out of work. And as far as the African American community, you know, whenever America has a problem, our problem is 10 times worse. So when do we put an end to the taking care of other folks when we're not taking care of ourselves?
Thank you for your question.
Yes, thank you for your question. So with respect to that, my stance is going to be prioritizing America. And our issues, our national, our domestic issues need to be prioritized. Now, one other thing that I will say, with respect to international relations, we do need to have a great connection and communication established between ourselves and our fellow countries. You know, we're not on this earth alone. Even as a country, we're not here alone. There are 190, close to 200 plus countries in this world. And so we do have to be active participants with them, and we do have to communicate with them and work with them on a global scale. But like I said, we must prioritize what's going on here in our country. And that's why we need to reevaluate things, you know, like all the wars that we're currently involving ourselves in, and other international, issues that come up have to be constantly reevaluated. All right. I'm with you. I hear it in your voice that we are spending a lot of money overseas, guys. And we've got to continually look at these things and reevaluate, our purposes for being in these countries, our purposes for, reevaluating our purpose, our goals, and more importantly, holding those who are in charge of that, right? The Department of State and people who are over these agencies accountable for providing us with what goals are, what new goals there may be, and simply, like I said, reevaluating our position. But along that way, we must prioritize ourselves. So Hoosiers, and you can also be sure that is the way I view things. Yes, we're on the international stage, but I believe in prioritizing America and working with other countries to so that we can all get along somehow.
Great. Thank you so much. I know that there's a question on the chat room, and that is by Tristan. Is mail-in voting due to COVID-19 happening in Indiana?
Tristan, thank you so much for your question. Well, yes, certainly mail-in voting. We participated in mail-in voting here for our primaries. And I'm hoping that we can also do that for the general election. My view on mail-in voting is that it is just as reliable as anything else until proven otherwise. And I think the folks at the Indiana Election Commission tried as hard as they could to get all those votes counted. So I'm absolutely for it. And I also casted a mail-in ballot, and I know several of our federal officials also casted in mail-in ballots. So I don't really understand why then you have some of them saying that they're against it. How can you be against it and you did it? Can someone explain that to me? That's odd. You casted a mail-in ballot, but you're telling people not to do it? I think you guys know who I'm talking about. So the point of the matter is that I don't see any reason why we can't do it, and I'm hoping that it will be offered in the state of Indiana in the general election, although I'm not sure if that is being offered yet. Listen, I think that there's going to be a day when voting is casted digitally. And until we get there, we have to, do it the best way we can, and we have to do it by mail-in, whatever way we have to do it, we have to do it because it is a responsibility. We can't sit around here and complain about anything when we don't go vote. Okay? So that's my view of that. Thank you so much, Tristan, for your question.
Yeah, and that is so true. That if you want to have a voice, the way to have that voice is by voting. To my Latinos, I just want you to know that, of course, this is a paid show, in case some of you have been questioning it. This is brought to you by Haneefah Khaaliq for Congress 2022 campaign. And to me, it's a blessing to be chosen as a person to interpret for her. I want to let you know that we are offering translation for those that speak Spanish only. Estamos ofreciendo también los servicios de interpretación. Aquí la candidata que está corriendo para el Congreso 2022, tendremos también español disponible para que escuchen en estas reuniones lo que ella entiende hacer como congresista del Senado de Estados Unidos, qué es lo que entiende hacer para nuestros latinos, nuestros Latinx, los que no hablan en español, para nuestros inmigrantes. Y es muy importante saber lo que está pasando en nuestro país, pero también aquí, estatal y local, en la ciudad y el condado, para que también los estadounidenses americanos que no hablan en inglés puedan votar y sepan para quién votar. It's so important that you know who to vote for and why vote for the people that you're voting for. We have to educate ourselves first and foremost. And if you do want to have a voice, you should vote. And that is to exercise the right that many people fought for. One of my brothers in Christ, that's our belated Martin Luther King and Cesar Chavez. Together we can become stronger. Together we can work. And in numbers, there's more power in it. And for those of you that are calling in, 219-885-1371, we are open for phone line. The phone line is open for questions, rather. It is 47 minutes after the hour. And, of course, we're live on StreamYard. We're live on Twitter. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube as well. Haneefah Khaaliq for Congress 2022. Why am I doing this? Because we need change. And I saw there's a change in this young lady. But I love change, period, as you guys know who I am. If you have any questions, jot it down on the chat. Greg is checking on the other chat, and we are multitasking here because this is a paid program, and we're opening the lines for Haneefah Khaaliq to speak her mind, speak her heart, and her intentions. Now, I have one question. I don't know if there's any other ones calling in, but one question when it comes to education. I'm here to help the quality, to improve the quality of education, Haneefah. How do you oppose, or what is your purpose on in helping to improve education as we see that Gary, East Chicago, Hammond have the least advantage to give the best quality of education for our students because it's by zip code, because it's by city, because it's by economics, if you will, or lack thereof. What are your intentions with that?
Okay, so for those of you listening in, the first thing that I want you to know, and thank you so much for your question, Eve, with respect to education. First things first that I want listeners to know is that I was a school teacher, and I know what it's like for teachers to get up and go to work every day early before the crack of dawn. My alarm clock used to go off at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I would get ready to go to work and teach my lovely students, and I wouldn't leave sometimes until well after maybe 6, maybe 7 p.m. Okay, so I understand education. I understand school teaching and how hard it is for the teacher. And I also understand how challenging it can be to have a classroom full of 35 or 40 students and be a little frustrated with some things. So I think that when people are paid well, it encourages them to do better. I am for a teacher wage increase. In fact, my whole thing about livable wages includes teachers. So I think one of the things that we need to do is treat our teachers better. We need to make sure that they have the tools and the resources that they need in order to create a positive classroom experience for their students. We need to make sure that teachers are given the resources, right? They need, when I was a teacher, most of the projects and things that I did in class, I had to come out of my own pocket and pay for because, there was no money in the school district. Okay, so part of it is investing in increased pay and support for public school educators nationwide. It's also creating a better experience for our students in the classroom, eliminating the prison to school to prison pipeline, that means ensuring every child in America has the same access to a high quality public education. We need to end districts' ability to separate themselves from already existing districts for no reason. And we need to allow the Department of Justice and Education to carefully scrutinize, investigate, and bring Title VI enforcement actions if necessary. We also need to expand early childhood services and education in America. Most Americans are admitted to kindergarten at the age of 5. But with most learning taking place in the first 3 years, it's too late to ensure toddlers and babies have a strong start. Let's give our children a nationwide head start in the learning process by investing more money in early childhood education, in those after-school programs and things of that nature. We need to introduce culturally relevant curriculum and multicultural education and training as a necessary requirement for all schools and universities. We have an ongoing race problem in this country, and it can only be fought, in my opinion, with education. We have to take the time to learn about one another. And for many, that's going to start in elementary school. So one other thing that as a United States Senator, I will support, and that is the creation and support of national testing and licensing reform as well. So these are just a few of the things that I intend to work on. We need to provide a greater chance at success for differently abled students. Congress passed the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act 1975, which promised to cover 40% of the additional costs of educating differently able students. I want to make a point that I will work hard to renew and increase the amount of coverage for educating these students. So those are just a few of the things that I intend to do for education. Education is going to be one of my top 3.
Wonderful. We're live here also on WLTH AM 1370 and 92.7 FM. If you'd like to call in with a question, we have just a few minutes left. 219-885-1371. I'm asking questions that are dear to my heart, Ms. Haneefah Khaaliq, for Congress 2022.
Yes.
Are you doing anything for our elderly currently? As you know, they're not always treated fairly in certain areas. And do you plan on doing anything for them for better care?
Right. So I think healthcare is a big concern for us all, but especially our senior citizen community. And one thing that's sure, and that is that our senior citizens are the backbone of our society and our country. They must absolutely be protected and provided with opportunities as well. And it's one of the things that I intend to tackle, having, been and am a civil rights agency director, is expanding the law to protect these individuals in a greater capacity. And what that's going to mean is, protecting them in their jobs that they may have, or with respect to applying for those jobs, or how about in housing? A lot of our senior citizens are struggling to find housing. The law needs to be expanded to protect them as well in housing. Right now, there's no basis for age discrimination in housing. Let's expand the law and protect senior citizens when they're looking for a home. Okay? So yes, so that's just everything I'm saying. I think is a fraction of what I intend to do.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
Okay.
answering that. And we do have a caller on the line.
All right.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the line. Thank you for waiting.
Yes, good evening, man. Courtney B.
Hello, how you doing, Courtney?
Hey. Doing what I always do, pushing and pulling.
Right. So what's your question?
Fight of faith.
And what's your question?
And so, I've been just speaking to the point to the young lady to your guest. I really embrace her mindset and all her endeavors. But, the saying is scripture in the Bible that my people perish for lack of knowledge. But I've been fighting this fight a long time for 67. And polling is the key. You have a voice, so and with a voice you have a choice. And so, to you, I just want to say to you, I'm a Vietnam veteran since 1969. And so from a lineage of veterans, but that's not here or there, but what I'm mostly focused on is a itinerary, you say a congresswoman for 22, years 22,
Yes.
and I would imagine you have the same mindset as most women, of your itinerary, and like Shirley Chisholm, Karen Williams Brown, Maxine Waters, I go on and on. But I say this to say that people are tired of false promises and empty hope. Are tired of being lied to, bamboozled, that nothing. And so it's good to know that as young as you are and what you've done, I know you're very, very, very apt and understand, and you're sitting with one that I truly admire, and that's Eve. And so all your endeavors, whatever you do, Tomo, don't be bamboozled, don't let nobody take you off the trail, for if you don't continue to succeed in the office that you're seeking, let's come to a sleeper for the dream, so you got to be about it instead of talk about it.
Thank you.
Our system, only thing our system is consistent in, the only thing our system is consistent in is that it's inconsistent.
All right.
That's been too long. I go way back to Emmett Till, I voted in 67.
Thank you for calling in.
I voted absentee this year. My wife and I, who wasn't married for 42 years,
All right. Well, thank you so much,
But
Courtney.
anyway, I really enjoyed the program and much success to you.
Thank you very much, Courtney, and thank you for your service as well to our country. I come from a family of veterans, and we value the service that you have, the service that you dedicated to this country. And I certainly am aware that there's a level of frustration growing in this country for the lies and the things that have been fed to people. But I need Hoosiers to recognize that I'm a different type of person. Number one, I'm not a career politician. And number two, you can be sure that I am a woman of my word. So thank you so very much. I just want to take this moment. We are closing out this broadcast, but I want to make sure that I let people know I am Haneefah Khaaliq. I am running for United States Senate right here in Indiana in 2022, and I'm starting my campaign right now because I believe that's what it's going to take in order for me to win. The name of my committee is Hoosiers for Haneefah, and I love the one-time contributions, but I do need subscribers, and I will be sending you a T-shirt as a result. Also, remember to join me next Saturday, June 20th, 2020, 1 p.m. Central Time. I'll be hosting my third virtual town hall for Fort Wayne, Indiana, from all my social media platforms as we're going to continue to play it safe. So God bless you. God bless Indiana. God bless America. Thank you, Eve.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening. Here on WLTH Radio, the Region's Choice and the People's Voice. Of course, we will be back regular programming after this. We want to thank you for joining us here on WLTH Radio. So we appreciate you listening, and, well, let's just keep pressing on. Thank you so much. Thank you, Haneefah, for calling on WLTH Radio.
Thank you. Thank you.